uko diaspora na unataka Zoom link, ongea na Joel Arama. I've pinned this comment hapo juu, alafu tunaingia kazi. Wale watu wako diaspora, tafadhali unmute yourself. Kina Joel Arama, tafadhali toeni mute, alafu tunajua ni aje, alafu tuanze kazi. Joel Arama, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Man, I'm doing well.
Good to see you. Watu wanasemaje pale?
Sisi tuko poa. We're just happy to join you and let's get this show on the road.
So maybe if I'll give you an opportunity to introduce yourself.
All right. Just give me. Wacha huyo endelea. I see someone send me a message. Let me reply.
Sang. Arab Sang. Sang ameenda kapotea tena. Sang.
Yes.
Jambo.
Niko.
Umepatikana sasa. Na kuona sasa.
Jambo sana Mr. BITOK. How are you?
Salama, naona uko San Francisco.
No, I'm you're the technology. Me niko Kansas City, Missouri, right in the heart of the Midwest.
Wow, nice.
Of the US.
Nice. So maybe I'll give you an opportunity first of all to introduce yourself.
So my name is Christopher Arab Sang. I'm from those sides of Eldoret, village called Jeptil, and we came to this USA some time back, and we made a home here, and we still follow you guys back home, and we are really in tune with all the challenges that we are facing right now at home. With the politics that is and the pandemic that is going on. So we're dealing with the same here. So we're glad to participate in this forum today.
Hi. How long have you been there, sir?
I've been here for quite a while. I came to the US in '97, to go to school here. And, I'm in the healthcare industry. So we're dealing with the pandemic here, and sometimes some of the things that we see going on back home, and people being reckless and things like that, it's really saddening. And watu wanachukua hii ugonjwa kama ni mchezo. All the back and forth rallies that we'll continue to have, it's not different than when we had the recent past elections here. One side was reckless than the other, and we continue to see those things affect normal people that don't have ways of helping themselves, especially if the government doesn't come up and offer support for them.
All right. Arama, are you back? I'm also seeing you have a new guy called Emmanuel.
Yeah,
I'm
back.
Yes, Arama.
Good morning, my fellow Kenyans. Wacha niibe hiyo phrase ya Jaden kidogo.
Unajaza na Uhuru, unajua anaweza kufanyia deportation. Urudi Kenya hapo kule shida na sisi.
Nipotea Twitter sasa atapata wapi kweli?
Aliapa Twitter, alisema Twitter ni matusi tupu.
Kwa majina ni hiyo ni kawaida bwana. Lazima hiyo si matusi, ni opinion.
All right, I'll give you an opportunity to introduce yourself.
Yes, Joel Arama. Been currently in the USA, great state called Alabama. Wengine wanashangaa Alabama iko wapi, lakini ni a very great, nice state. Peace and love, being pole hapa. Been here for over almost 15 years now.
15 years.
I work in the telecommunication industry as an engineer. Maisha ni poa, but we still love our country. Sisi tunakeep up sana events, what's happening in the country na maisha vile watu wako, keep in touch with people. By the way, your guest who is coming, I want to see him because that's my good friend, Bwana Seb. We went to school together in Baraton, so we have a long history together. So I'm here, wacha tuongee, tuchange moto, tuongee maneno hapa kabisa. I'm hoping we'll have a good discussion. na watu wachangie. I was wishing to see more people joining, but wale watajoin, wengine wamelala, wengine ndio wanaamka, we don't know. We different. Diaspora ni kubwa bwana.
I think Joel also should be on his way. He's saying he's leaving work shortly. So let's hope you're going to have him coming in. There's also Mbugwa. I don't know where Mbugwa has disappeared to, but I hope you'll also have him coming in. But what are some of the things that you diasporans are picking as a point of concern, especially in the country, that's happening in the country? Arama.
Oh, you want me to start? Okay.
Yes.
I would say this. I'm much more of a social justice person. Growing up, sense of being fair to everybody has been part of me for a long time. I know even from school, I spent some time in Nairobi before I came over to the USA. And some of the things, those days was city council. I remember one time we used to wait. Sisi tulikuwa nangoja matatu, bei ya matatu inashuka kwanza, saa zile jam imeishaisha, ndio unapanda matatu unalipa 20 bob unaenda home. Instead ya kulipa 50. So we used to hang around hiyo chai house hapo hivi, with some friends talk, and then kuna watu walikuwa nauza manyanya hapo na matunda na kila kitu jioni hustling to get their money. And I remember one time ile road ya city council ilikuja na mama alikuwa kibonge kweli, amesimama hapo bwana, anaambia maaskari warushe watu, na walichukua mama na nyanya zake wakatupa, wamekanyaga, wanamtupa. So it really got into me. Nilikuwa na my cousin hapo, tukamwambia sasa, jameni, huyu mama haidi mtu anakuja kuhaswa hapa, anatafuta chakula ya watoto wake, mbona mnampiga hivi? This could be your mother, this could be your sister. Why do you have to do this?
Yes.
Hata kama amekosa ana license, there is a better way to do this than kuchafua chakula, biashara ya mtu, kukanyaga, kumembarrass na kumrusha kwa gari ni kama sio mtu. You need to be fair. It really got us riled up. Unajua unaanza kupiga kelele mpaka watu wana surround wao, kaona hapa ni kubaya, acha tusonge kidogo. And people fear city council, askari wa council watu wameogopa sana.
Etwa kanjora.
Sense of fairness. Yeah, so your sense of fairness, to me, social justice is a very important thing. I hate to see when people are speaking up for what they believe in, and then polisi out of where na kutandika marungu bwana, ni kama hata nyoka ni afadhali bwana. So zile watu wanaua nyoka, they don't do that. So those are the things that really gets to me, that we need to have a sense of fairness. We need to be, treat each other as human beings. Si ati kwa sababu wewe uko na cheo unadharau mwingine, ama unapita na gari yako unamwagia maji, unachapa maji unamwagia, because you think they are nobody. And then you go forward a few meters down, gari yako ina break down, the same person umechapa na maji hapa ndio unataka kusaidia. Those are the things that really gets to me. And overall, good governance. Kenya is a beautiful country, very hardworking people. Na kila mtu anajitafutia kwa njia yake. But can we make it better? Can we make it easier for people to do business and stuff like that? I saw a post leo asubuhi from one of my cousins, anasema, you are unemployed. Ukitaka ndio uende kupata kazi, unataka certificate of good conduct, you pay I think 1,000.
Yes.
Unaenda CRB, you pay 1,500. Unaenda help, you pay money. Everywhere you are paying money. Why would I pay 1,000 shillings when I don't have any money? Is there someone who actually think that this is the right way to help people?
You're paying money to get a job.
Yeah, I mean, I would see ukinichaji 10 shillings ya kufanya photocopy ama ya kuprint, I can see that, administrative cost, that makes sense. But 1,000? Really? Unaenda on the other side, umeanza biashara yako, license peke yake ya kufungua biashara ya county ni 40,000 ama 20,000 ama ni 10,000. Wewe capital yako yenyewe ni 5,000. Sasa utatoa wapi license ya 10,000, unalipa 10,000? Where do you get that money from? Those are the things to me that really, sometimes you think, our leaders, do they even have a brain somewhere? I'm sorry to say that, but that's how I feel, and that's how I see it. Do you have when you think about the people you are representing, the people you're supposed to lead, do you actually think where they come from? Ama ni kujiwekelea tu, mimi ni mtu wa watu, I represent people, but you are only representing yourself and your stomach.
Personal interest.
Yeah, personal interest. Can we rise above that? When I see stories like COVID millionaire, nasema jameni, unaiba paka gunia ya pesa. Can you do something for people to see? We are understand kuna ile pesa inaanguka hapa na pale marupurupu sawa. But you know, huwezi iba kila kitu bwana mpaka gunia ilikuwa imebeba pesa yote unaenda naye.
Unaenda naye nyumbani, unaiba ugali na sufuria.
Yote mpaka sufuria na unga na mawe yote na kuni umebeba umeenda naye.
Chris. Christopher.
Yes, yes. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Okay, go. So I think my main concern is I know that when in 2010, when the new constitution was promulgated, I think it was the excitement of, okay, we're going to do this for the diaspora people, dual citizenship, we're going to do this and that. But we seem to have been forgotten, kabisa, and left behind because nobody's getting us involved in anything political back there. I know that we matter to the country through revenue that we bring back home. But then the representation over here, we don't get any at all because imagine, Gerald, they expect us to even, when you're wanting to renew your passport, means that this country, you do it so easily.
Yeah.
You have to physically travel. You have to physically travel all the way to Washington, D.C. to be able to do those things.
Wow.
I remember way back when the ambassadors used to visit us here for Madaraka Day and things like that. We don't see those things anymore. For the last almost 15 years, we don't see anybody going around to cities to just listen to people, you know, so they can hear our views, but they don't do that anymore. You know, people listen to our ideas, but then they just push it aside and go back to manipulating people the way they're doing it right now. You get aid from other places, like Mr. Arama said, and the next day they're millionaires are rolling around and not caring how the Mwananchi is feeling right now. At least here, the government was giving people something to help with, whether rent, whether a little money to get you by during the pandemic. But I don't think that is going on back there. So those are some of the challenges that I see being the diaspora, being shelved aside and being told, you know, just, you know, we're going to involve you in this, but then they don't do anything about it beyond that part.
All right. I'm saying we have another guy called Yator. Yator, is it good morning or good evening where you are? Yator amekuja na akapotea. All right. We are in the country, back in the country, having a discussion on the BBI issue. And yesterday we launched the signatures. Na wamesema kwamba tutakunywa kama dawa ya malaria. As diasporans, as diasporans that you still have the interest in this country, what are some of the issues that you wish could be captured in the document, and what are your thoughts actually on the whole process in itself, even before we go to what you guys would want to see in the document?
Ooh, that's a loaded question. How do I put it? I said in the beginning that, you know, I like sense of fairness. And my approach with the BBI also is the same. I did not want to comment a lot before I read it. And before we got to this, I started reading it and then I got somewhere, you know, I got sidetracked with work and then it became a little bit boring, so I put it aside. But before this,
how do you mean it became a little bit boring?
Yes, it was too much. So I decided to read, you know, more, catch up and do some notes. I was writing notes while I'm reading it. And one thing I can say is there are some aspects of this BBI report that I think will be good for the country as a whole. And I'll give you examples. One of the things that I saw is, one of the things that I think should be sense of fairness for me that is actually involved is, for example, the revenue sharing is a good idea or is a good thing to look at and make and people actually we're having a discussion with some of our friends today and say, why don't we just change the law than putting in the constitution? And I told them, to me, putting in the constitution, it gives it a much more strength because the law is subject to interpretation by the judge or whoever is presiding the case at that moment. And the law can easily be changed, you know, next parliament may come in and vote and reduce it to some other percentage or increase another percentage. But when you put in the constitution, the threshold of making that change is much higher, and it takes a longer process for you to change it. So it's much easier to embed it in the constitution than just changing the law. One other thing that I liked about it that should be changed is the election petitions, but they miss one aspect of it. We need to include all election petitions in that amendment. You know, there's no need for an MCA or a governor or a senator or an MP petition to be the case to be ongoing for 2 years. The guy who was supposed to have won is, we overturned that election was not fair, and it needs to be redone. Somebody has been in office for 2 years. That's unfair to the voter. That's unfair to people who are involved in the process. That's unfair even the person who was in office for 2 years. Whatever they did, what makes somebody else who comes and says, hey, if this guy has been declared null and void, anything he voted for while he was in parliament, then should also be declared null and void. So these are things that we need to look at. We should have a time frame. You know, if the new members of Parliament are supposed to be in office or go to parliament by a certain date, all petitions should be ruled by that time. So if, for example, you do the election in August, and by January they're supposed to be in office, so all petitions should be decided by December 31st. Everything should be done by then, so that anybody who is supposed to go be sworn in as a member of parliament, as a senator, as an MC, as a governor, everything should be done by that time. We should not be dragging this thing for years. It's a waste of time, it's a waste of resources, and more so is an insult to the voter who woke up 4 a.m. in the morning to go and vote, and then you tell him, oh, by the way, you have to go back and redo this 2 years again. And then the difference is, when this person was being voted in, maybe we had 20,000 voters who voted, or 50,000 or 100,000. But when you do a by-election, only 20,000 people participate. So you are actually robbing the people who voted the first time the chance of choosing their own leader, because now you have reduced the number of people who are going to vote by you nullifying the election 2 years down the line. So those are some of the things that I would like to see embedded. And I think my challenge to especially the leaders, and I have to mention, religious leaders who have come out against or for whoever is against or for the lawyers fraternity, the teachers, anybody who has a platform. It's not good enough for you to come and tell me, oh, this report is not good, we need to throw it away. Or it's not enough for you to come and tell me this report is good, we need to vote for it. What is good in it? Can you be more specific and tell me what is good in it? What does it do for me? Or what does it do for the country? Don't just come and say, oh, it's good, you trust me, go and vote for it. Oh, it's not good, trust me, go and vote against it. That should not be the case. You need to explain to people and let them know what's going on. In simpler terms. So that's my opinion. There are some things, for example, I know I followed some of the proceedings when people were collecting views. I remember people saying, we need to reduce the number of counties. We need to reduce the number of members of parliament or senators because the wage bill is too big. We are paying too much money for people just sitting around and making fun and not doing real work. All they do, the first thing they got in parliament is to raise their salary. You interviewed for a job, you get a job, then when you get in the office, you say, oh, by the way, I need you to increase my salary. And then you say, if you don't increase, you're not going to pass any budget, then no government is going to work. That's blackmail. For example, Congress here, if they increase the salary, that salary is effective the next Congress, not the current one. You cannot increase your own salary. That is the highest conflict of interest I've ever seen.
Impunity.
Never happened. And we should embed that in the law, in the constitution, that whenever parliament makes changes that benefits members of parliament, senate, or whatever, those changes should be effective after the next election. It should never be effective this current election. Same thing with a lot of constitutional changes and everything. They're never effective immediately. They're effective the next session. So those are, to me, some of the things I want to see to be effective. Now, also, we have talked about people in diaspora. We need this also to be in the constitution. Why do you place the diaspora? Mr. Sang said that we send a lot of money. I mean, the last time I checked, I think we have been sending up almost 100 billion or so, even more than that.
Yeah, sure.
So here, somebody contributing that much money, you have a say in the government. You have a voice. But all we are is a money conduit. Hey, somebody, mwanasiasa anakuja hapa, anachangiwa, I will do everything for you. And then you go over there and you forget about anything. Can we be serious and involve everybody. There are people who have ideas, there are people who have suggestions, there are people who have plans that can work for our country. We have a lot of Kenyans here who are very smart and industrious and innovative. They have done a lot of great things all over the world. Why can't we channel this back to our country? But we have to have that platform that allows us to do that.
All right.
So, but unfortunately, at this moment, we don't. So I don't want to, I can talk forever. So I see we have a lot of people.
I'm seeing some other guys have joined in. I'm seeing Bernard Birundu. Bernard Birundu, good. Is it good evening or good morning where you are?
It's evening here. Good morning. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
All right, I'm also seeing we have Samuel Yator. Samuel Yator, how are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you doing?
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you. I'm in Minneapolis.
Yeah, Minneapolis.
About 11:30 at night.
All right, I'm seeing also they have John Limo. John Limo has not put his video and sound on. But anyway, I think we're gonna start with Bernard Birundu. Bernard Birundu.
Yes.
You've had a discussion that have been ongoing, right? I'll give you first of all an opportunity to introduce yourself, where you are in, mahali uko pale, na pia mahali unatoka hapa nyumbani, alafu pia where your interests are, where you are. And then we'll now move to the discussion that we've been having.
Yes, my names are Bernard Birundu, yes, Ombui on Facebook.
Oh, nice. Ombui.
Yes, yes. I'm in Seattle. We call it Seattle sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I just came in a few minutes ago and I saw you guys were discussing with the diaspora people.
Yeah.
And I decided to try my luck to see if I can say something in your show.
Yeah, please, you're most welcome. You've been a great contributor on the show.
Yes, and I don't know whether you're discussing about the BBI or the other issues we're discussing.
I think what you also we are looking at the kind of whatever is happening in the country, and then again we are more leveraging with the BBI report that was launched yesterday. The signatures were launched yesterday, and the question is, diasporans, when you go to diaspora, you don't stop being a Kenyan. You're still a Kenyan. By all extension, you still have the right to participate in the running of the country. What's your feelings about as your aspirations being captured in the BBI report? Also, the issues that's going on in the country, maybe the COVID-19 plight of doctors and all that. I'm sure you've been following up what has been going on because you've been on this show quite well. Yeah. So maybe you can just give us your general comments on the concerns you picked in the country.
Yes, probably what I can say is that the BBA has not catered for the people in the diaspora because we don't have a representation in Parliament, in the Senate. We are a constituents now, the people in the diaspora. In fact, we are a county. We must be represented as a county, So we have member of Parliament. We have, a senator. We even have a governor to represent us because we are a lot of people in the diaspora. So I would suggest that should be looked into. On the other hand, the people in the diaspora, we have many issues we face here, especially when we are going to seek services in our embassies. Our embassies are very inefficient. If these things can be, be catered in the BBI, then that will be very awesome because we contribute a lot to the economy. In fact, the amount in the diaspora people send to Kenya is a lot. So our interests must also be catered and respected and be honored. So that's what I can say. Another thing I can say is that the BBI is not going to change the country. It's not going to change how we view our country. We need, as Kenyans, to change our mindset. What do we need for our country? What do we need as a people? We've had the constitution, the new constitution, which was promulgated in 2010. It is a very beautiful document. But because there's lack of goodwill from leadership and the Kenyans themselves, it has not fully been realized. So the same way, even if we bring this BBI and the Kenyans are hesitant in following the right path of which we aspire as a country, this BBI is still going to be put in the archives and stay there. And after some years, we will still have something else coming up as a way of trying to produce a document to improve our aspirations. It is not going to work. So another thing I wanted to say is that, I was expecting much in the BBI, very astounding issues to be catered in the BBI. For instance, I wished, and I wanted that we increase the arms of government in the BBI. For instance, I was expecting to see the IBC becoming one of the independent arms in government, so that we can be able to try and drain off the issue of rigging or the IBC being interfered by the executive. I also was expecting the anti-corruption body to be an independent body, in the BBI, so that the issues to do with corruption can be dealt with. But this is not the case. So it means that even if I have no issue with the BBI, you know, whoever came up with, they have their own reasons. I would have wished that if these issues were catered in the BBI, then there's no reason why we cannot support it. But as much as the key issues are not catered, what we are seeing is paramountly the issue to do with increasing the executive and a few issues here and there to blackmail Kenyans, then this document is not going to help Kenyans achieve their dreams.
All right.
So that's what I can say as for the BBI.
All right. I want to take the comments of Yator. Then when you come back from Yator, before you do the second round, I'll come back to the studio to refer to my panelists. Alafu tunarudi tena kwenu. Samuel Yator, good morning. Good evening. Where you are?
Good night, actually. It's almost
it's good night.
here.
Unajua bwana, sisi hapa masaa tunaipeleka tu vile iko.
Yes.
Nikikwambia good morning unasema good morning.
I go by Kimutai Yator, but you know, we usually like the Christian name to be the first one, but initially our names are African names, Kimutai Yator.
All right. Good to see you, sir. I'll also give you an opportunity to introduce yourself, and then you give us your comments on the raft of issues that you picked.
Thank you so much, Gerald. My name is Akimuta Yator. I come originally from Kapsabet. I grew up in a small village called Victoria. I moved to the United States probably 10 years ago. I completed my bachelor's degree in nursing. I'm a neurologist nurse. I do urology nurse. I do surgical nurse. So I specialize in three things, and I work in one of the biggest hospitals in Minneapolis. One of the things that quiet.
Nimesema ongera, pongezi ndugu.
Thank you. So one of the things that I wanted to touch base, Gerald, today is actually from a perspective of healthcare. I deal with COVID-19 every day here in the United States. And when you look at the situation in Kenya about COVID-19, it's kind of, you look at it and you feel embarrassed to even say that I come from Kenya. How this situation has been handled is so poor. In a way, by where you look at the way the minister has been handling this situation since the beginning, how the government has been actually handling this situation, even the president himself. You know, they have not actually brought themselves in a way that is approaching this concept and thinking and taking to be very serious disease that is really killing millions of people all over the world. We have talked about the spread of COVID in Kenya. The minister, the conspiracy, the conspiracy concept that actually he purported said actually on the television that when the vaccines come, he kind of challenged. That is something that was very wrong for a minister to say something like that. Another thing.
In fact, he was asking you, did you know I'll catch corona?
Yes. You know, it started. You know, he doesn't understand the whole thing. But at the end of the day, he said something that is very serious, and it comes from a government official. One thing that I wanted to touch base actually, when you see coronavirus with the economic impact that is affecting our country, Kenya, for example, small businesses closing, people don't have money. It has affected it has affected people's life and the country. You know, we got a lot of money from European countries, loan to support those small enterprises, to support people who probably have been affected by the coronavirus economically. And looking at how the minister and the president has handled this situation. Gerald, it has been, you read it in the news, and it is really something that Kenyans, as we talk about the BBI, I think the priority aspect that we really need to look at is the coronavirus, not the BBI. I haven't read the BBI though. I'm still working on it, and I hope I understand it, because most of the Kenyans really don't understand what's in the BBI. It is just, I think it's a backdoor thing that is coming in from Uhuru and Rahila. It is just a way of actually preserving the status quo. Thank you, Gerald.
All right. Do you feel, for the much that you've read, do you feel you've been addressed as the diasporans?
I don't feel that I've been addressed as diaspora. I'm still looking at the dual citizenship thing. Of course, we have the dual citizenship. But when it comes to leadership, we have not actually been given that opportunity to participate in leadership as diaspora. If you have a dual citizenship, you are not allowed to run as a member of parliament or a senator or a representative in Kenya. You have to present your papers or declare that you have to render away your other citizen. And this constitution really has left the diaspora. It has not addressed anything to do with diaspora. We send a lot of money to Kenya. We try to do investments. You look at the interest that we pay when we try to do investment in Kenya. We pay a lot of money for the interest. So I think they should be touching also on something to do with the interest that we people of diaspora pay on the investments that we do in Africa or in Kenya, so that we bring more capital, so that we do more investments and promote the economy, instead of actually charging us and creating bureaucracy in anything that we do, importation, investment in small businesses. We go through a hell lot of bureaucracy. You go to these government offices. I was there last December. I was trying to do something. I had to go like 6 government offices trying to get a signature to do a small business on technology. But those are things that the government needs to address in starting small business, especially for people who are in diaspora coming to Kenya to do investment.
Alright. Unajua ba huku Kenya kuna meza itamu kama ya wave. Ukiona wave, kwanza zinakujanga mbili. So we really appreciate you diaspora guys. Inaenda alafu inakuja tena mara mbili, nakwambia kweli imeingia. Alright, tunashukuru. Mtaniruhusu kidogo, nimeona kuna jamaa pia ameingia hapa. I'm seeing someone anaitwa Lumirera at yahoo.com. Nimeona ameingia. Mtaniruhusu nikimbia studio kidogo, nikirudi tuweze kuendelea. We have some two guests at the studio as well. Bob Misheni Njagi of that is Free Kenya Initiative. Juu Kenya imeshikwa na nani? Anasema they want to free Kenya. Good morning, Mr. Njagi.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
Thank you for hosting us. Yes.
I'll also give you an opportunity to introduce yourself.
Very well. Good morning.
And also your initiative.
To the viewers and listeners online. My name is Bob Njagi. I'm the chairperson for the Free Kenya Popular Initiative, which is a people-driven referendum which we are pursuing in the country today. This is an alternative to the Building Bridges initiative, and it is a people-driven initiative that we are hoping we can get Kenyans on board to support this initiative, so that we rally and we own the process of the referendum, not the politicians but the people themselves. So I'm here today to discuss briefly about this initiative, what we are presenting, or rather what we are proposing to Kenyans, and the roadmap for the Free Kenya Initiative.
Thank you so much. Daktari, wewe si mgeni, lakini salimia wa Kenya, watu ambao ulikuwa nao pale diaspora kitambo when you were still young.
I am still young, thank you. How are you, especially fellow viewers? Are they listeners, viewers? Or both? You can view, you can listen.
You can view and listen.
And our diaspora friends. At some point I was very active in saying we don't send money when I was in diaspora until Kenya listens to us. Until my older brother who was in Britain called me and said, hiyo pesa unatumia mama yako na ndugu yako. So how will that hurt Moi? No, Kibaki then. So if you decide that umezusha, so hiyo ndugu yangu school fee ikae. Huyo mama ninamtumianga 10,000 ifanye nini? How is that going to hurt the government? So but I'm saying that to show how much we are enjoined at the hip because we are brothers, we have sisters, you are our brothers, you are our sisters, you are our uncles, cousins, and therefore the relationship that Africans always form stronger community there. But also don't forget this part. Finally, I wanted to lament, because when we were in diaspora, every time we planned for a diaspora event, Mashujaa, then it was called Jamhuri Day, kulikuwa na tabia ingine which was not good. Kila mtu amekuja huko, amekuja na mzungu wake ambaye anachunga.
Anachunga ama anachungwa? Anachunga,
ako kwa wheelchair. Mmoja sijui tukiimba national anthem mmoja anasha you know. So I'm looking at all these people we are supposed to celebrate our independence. Mmoja sijui ako wheelchair, amengoa flag. I love you Kenya. So because most of us were actually working to take care of this kind of population. So siku hiyo unaendea mdozi unamwambia, unajua, this will be good diversity for my client, so I'm going to take him there. After all, it's free barbecue. Yuko hapa, but they used to disrupt most of this. Most of our people who are in diaspora are not there because they love Kenya less. They are there because somebody messed their economy, our economy, and they are there. And the first month somebody hit there is thinking about home until the last day they come back. These are our heroes. Asante.
All right. I'll go back to introduce someone who has joined in. There's someone else who has joined in on the broadcast on Zoom. And then Kirudi, we give Bob Njagi an opportunity to introduce the initiatives that they are running. Anaona amebadilisha jina, anaitwa sasa Miss LM. Miss LM, please unmute your microphone. Unmute yourself.
I think I am on mute now.
All right. How are you doing, sir?